I've said to the listeners on the afternoon show many a time and oft that this is the greatest job in the world because you get to speak to your heroes on occasions. Now, way back in the 70s, I was bought an album called Killer. And the first track off that was an absolute stunner. It was called Under My Wheels, and rocked my world. And I'm very fortunate to be able to say hello and good afternoon to one of the co-writers of that track, Mr. Dennis Dunaway. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Now then, of course, that was a band that I think everybody in the world knows. That was Alice Cooper, of course, of which you were one of the founders, weren't you?
Yes, Alice and I were high school mates and way back in the 60s, and we were like 15 and 16 when we met, and we decided to start a group together, and it eventually turned into the Alice Cooper Group.
Right, which did quite well for itself.
Yeah, we did pretty well.
and of course but I mean, more to the point, and bringing everything bang up to date. You have moved on from the Alice Cooper Group, and you are now on tour in your own right with a band called Blue Coupe.
Yes, we pronounce it Blue Coupe.
Oh, right, okay.
In the States, but I know Coupe. I've had that discussion recently, and I even looked it up, all the pronunciations.
Yes, yeah. Well, we'll. I mean, I would hate to argue with you, Dennis. So I'm certainly going to call it Blue Coupe from now on. So, but tell me about the band itself.
We have the Bouchard brothers, Joe and Albert from Blue Oyster Cult. They both wrote a lot of songs with that band. Yeah. Including Joe wrote Astronomy that was covered by Metallica. Yeah. Albert wrote Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll, their first single, and of course they worked on all of their albums and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the two brothers and myself, and we've known each other for a lot of years, and we finally decided that we should put a group together, and we're just now finishing up our second album. Our first album is called Tornado on the Tracks, and that's available through CD Baby or BlueCoupeBand.com. We'll get you all that information.
Yes, yeah.
And we're very excited to be doing this tour in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the band itself. I mean, you've known each other a long time, haven't you? Because am I right in thinking that that you toured together in the early 70s?
Yes, 1972. We did about 15 dates together, Blue Oyster Cult and the Alice Cooper Group, and they got inspired to do their elaborate laser show.
Yes.
A cutting-edge show. It was just amazing with laser light effects that were just way ahead of everybody else. And so we've known each other all the years. We lived in the same area, in the New York City area. Yeah. And so when we finally decided to do a gig together, we didn't have any rehearsals, but we ended up playing for 3 hours to an incredibly enthusiastic crowd, and we decided this is too much fun. We got to make it official. So that was about 8 years ago.
Yeah. And of course, now your first album, which was, of course, received with huge acclaim, wasn't it?
Yes, we have a song on it called You Like Vampires that got a lot of attention. And also, Robbie Krieger of The Doors played on it, so that got a lot of attention for it. Yeah. We've had the good fortune to work with a lot of great musicians that we have a tendency to have people sit in, surprise guests wherever we go.
Right. And I mean, are you still enjoying the playing live experience, Dennis?
You know, I do. I really do. The traveling is work, but it's all worth it. I mean, that's why I still do it. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I play I'm 18, I still really enjoy playing it.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, as you say, I mean the travelling, you get to move around the world quite a lot. But I guess hotel rooms look pretty much the same in it wherever you are in the world.
Well, apparently I'm in a hotel room right now that Winston Churchill once stayed in.
There you are.
I can almost imagine the cigar smoke.
Right. Okay. So we haven't put you in a travel lodge then. That's. So I mean obviously you've been in the music a long time now, Dennis. Do you see great changes in the music business? Do you see, or is it still fundamentally still the same, where people performing and people enjoying that performance?
Well, it's radically changed with music becoming a free commodity in most people's eyes. So now musicians are trying to sell a product that people take for free.
Yeah.
So that's radically different. But the thing that will always be the same is people love music, and people that love to make music, I think the ones that are the most creative and the ones that have something the most unique or the newest thing, or are going to say something in a way that nobody else has ever done before, those people are going to rise to the top and be heard.
Yeah.
So, artists will find their way to the top, and it forces you to do it for the love of your art rather than for that big giant dollar up in the sky.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, over the years you've had some huge successes, and you've written some tremendously popular songs, and songs that have really become sort of part of the I suppose the world canon, if you like. Everybody knows Schools Out, everybody knows Elected. Does that? I mean, the actual writing of songs. How do you go about that, Dennis? Because it's always fascinating to find out how artists actually go about their craft, and how they actually sit down and write a song.
Well, I like the variety of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will start with the lyrics. Sometimes I will start with the chords. Sometimes I'll start with the bass riff, or even a rhythm. So there's a wide variety of all different sorts of things. That's the other great thing about working with Joe and Albert Bichard. They are so prolific. Our new album, for instance, we wrote over 35 songs.
Right.
I mean, it seems like every time I open my email, I have another song from each of those guys. So we certainly aren't starved for ideas in this group. And it seems like almost any song that I've ever written has a little bit different story about how it came about. So it does vary a lot. That's what I love about it too. Songwriting is a whole art unto itself. Playing live is an art unto itself, and there's various things. Interviews, there's an art to that I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, I think you've mastered that particular art. I mean, it's and especially as we've caught you while you're jet lagged and got you up early in the morning to speak to you. I think you're doing very well indeed, sir. Now, I mean the Blue Coupe themselves, the actual music that you play and the style of music that you play. Is this something that has developed in the 8 years since that first gig together?
Yes, we do have a sound of our own, even though it seems like Blue Oyster Cult fans say, "Oh yeah, I hear Blue Oyster Cult in there," and Alice Cooper fans say the same.
Yeah.
It's really just our own personal playing styles are evident there, but we don't think retro. We think very open-minded that way.
Yes.
Joe and Albert are both also music teachers in the New York City area, so they're always around a lot of young people, and they're up on what's going on. So we have all kinds of influences, and we don't try to do what we used to do. Even though it is a classic rock show, we do all of the recognizable hits. We dig deep into our respective histories,
Yes.
the catalogs, and then we do songs off of our new album. We usually throw in a few surprises. We might just honor a request, even though it may be a song we've never played together before.
Right.
So, it's a good rock and fun show, and that's the other thing that I mean, you're talking about, do you still love it? Well, we do. All three of us really love music, and we have fun with it. So that's really what keeps us coming back.
Excellent. Well, long may it continue to do so, Dennis. Now, I know you're coming up to our neck of the woods on the 30th because you're playing at the Robin 2 in Bilston, and we look forward to welcoming you up there. And hopefully the snow will have gone by then, so your travel arrangements won't be disrupted or anything. But it'll be great to see you and the band. And we thank you very much for having a chat with us this morning, because as I say, I know that you've only just flown over, and so we've caught you while you're still jet lagged, and you've acquitted yourself very well, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. I do feel like some of my brain is still out there over the pond somewhere, but I really appreciate your support. I hope lots of people come down to the show, because we will have a good time, and I thank you, Mark.
No, absolutely, my pleasure, sir, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the 30th. Thank you, Dennis.
Bye.
Cheers, thanks a lot.